talk about the summer 2024 designer shoe styles and trends. We're going to do a little bit of what's in, what's out, but by no means am I telling you to go and run whatever I'm about to say is out and take it out of your closet and put it straight in the bin. Absolutely not. Really, this is just what we're seeing more of and less of, what seems to be taking the place of other styles, okay? So, don't shoot the messenger. Starting off with one that is on its way out, one that I am happy to see be left behind. And whilst, yes, some brands are still doing this, Versace did a version of this on the runway for Spring-Summer 2024, we are definitely not seeing it to the extent that we used to, and this is PVC heels. Say goodbye to the foot fog and the sweat and the slipping sliding inside that foot and you don't know which way is up. And also, it seems that, even in 2024, a lot of brands still haven't found the soft PVC. So even if you're in the market for a PVC shoe, the sides are eating into your flesh like it's nobody's business. Whereas a nice soft little malleable PVC that molds the shape of a foot might be better. But again, it's a bit few and far between. However, what's taking its place is mesh. Mesh shoes, this is much more breathable. Let the tootsies breathe. We have seen this with the popularity of the Alaya ballet flats, that ballet flat style done in black and mesh. You can see the pedicure that you've spent money on through it. However, you're not as fully exposed as you are with some shoe styles. You know, it's almost like an evolution of the ballet flat trend. Philip Lim has done this in a finer mesh, in a lilac with a Mary Jane style. We're going to get back to Mary Jane's. Very minimal, very flat to the ground, right? Much like the Alaya ones. Laura Piana is even jumping on the back of this and has come out with their moccasin slipper. More of that larger mesh, almost as though your feet have been caught in a fisherman's catch. So they're doing that as well. Very simple shoe styles, okay? Very sort of bare, semi-naked. However, this is not just true of flats. Givenchy had some heels down the runway that were sort of covered in what looked like tights. They are not selling it like that to us now. What they're doing is basically selling it to you with the sock that you put inside the shoe, not over. I mean, you can, I guess, do what you want. I don't think those tights are going to last very long over the shoe. But anyway, so again, it's a sort of, that is an interesting sort of way of doing it. And then you have Mugler. Mugler have just launched their own shoe line. Previously they did a collaboration with Jimmy Choo, but now they have their own shoes. And for the mesh aspect, they're doing this in boots, but they're doing it in a mule style. There's a few different colours that they're doing it in, but it almost gives you what I think a lot of people liked from the PVC shoes, which was this illusion that it's just your foot. It gives that sort of like continuation of the leg, it elongates the leg in a different way. So yes, we're definitely seeing much more mesh, less of the PVC. Now, do you remember a time not that long ago when logo slides ruled supreme? If you weren't slapping your feet on the poolside in a black rubber slide that had Givenchy, Balmain, Versace, whatever else across the toes, you weren't doing it. Well, those days are behind us. Listen, I'm sure we've all got lots of rubber slides collecting dust somewhere, and whilst slides themselves and like pool slides and rubber slides and that kind of style is consistent in summer shoes especially, what we're seeing now is a much more slimmer profile. You're seeing much thinner soles, much narrower straps across the foot. Prada is doing these in a satin, but also in a velvet that has the little Prada logo at the front, narrow little slide that you're going into there. The Dior D-Way slide has a bit of a platform, but again, the profile of it does seem a little bit more pulled back from those sort of chunkier rubber pool slides that sort of had a lip that your foot went into, and then, you know, there was just a lot of extra around the sides, right? Small flotation devices for the feet almost looking. But another shoe style that we're seeing a lot of are just the thong in it. I've spoken about the Chanel velvet flip-flops that I think are a waste of money. Yes, you'll get a lot of use out of them, maybe, I don't know, but it is just essentially a tiny little skinny little black leather flip-flop that's got a Chanel CC on the side. Miu Miu is doing these scuba-esque, surfer-esque, bungee cord looking flip-flops, but they have a heel strap that goes across the back, velcroed, so that you can sort of make sure that you're strapped in there, so that you're not taking 3 steps forward and your flip-flop is 3 steps back, you know. So keeps it close to the foot. I do like these. I've seen them in person, I've touched it. They've got a nice little sort of rubber sole there, so they do seem like they would be comfy, but Pucci is doing a version of these that I just think is a bit fun, a bit different. I think the obvious choice for these would be the Miu Miu ones, but the Pucci ones are rather fabulous, if I do say so. What we're also seeing is that instead of it just being flats, we're seeing that little pesky little toe post in a heel as well. Burberry is doing a toweling, sort of like terry cloth version of these that initially I was horrified by. And then when I thought about it, I was like, I think my feet would like to experience that. Like, I just want to see what, like, I just want to see what it's like. You know, maybe I need to go in and try it on, but I feel as though the terry cloth on the toes, right? Discount the heel aspect of it, because like, that's just like another level. But I feel like that would be quite a nice experience. Anyway, I like the colours in a very sort of like creamy yellow and a creamy pink. It's a great colour combination of that. But yes, they're doing that in a heel version. Then you have these Gianvito Rossis that the straps are sort of, they've got they're bejewelled, okay, across the front of the foot with a much more like little clip-cloppy stiletto style. Very sort of sexy looking flip-flops. In the realm of, you know, how sexy can flip-flops, and Gianvito Rossi said, actually, rather quite. Prada is also doing these padded platform versions of flip-flops that sort of bulk them out a bit, that also sort of marry with another trend that we're going to come back to. But yes, you have that platform aspect that we saw with the Dior D-Way slides as well, in a flip-flop style that's a little bit more substantial looking. Sky-high, strappy little stiletto sandal styles, whilst always have a time and a place, are having less of a time and a place in 2024 summer. I'm talking Louboutin, sky-high, Aquazzura, strappy little dainty little tie shoes. Less of those are the vibe that we're seeing. What we are more seeing now are 2 styles in particular. One that I'm going to put into the bucket of Ladylike. Okay, I'm talking shoes appropriate for meeting his parents for the first time. I'm talking shoes that his grandma may compliment you on. The Manolo Blahnik Maysail check kitten heels. I actually quite like these. They also have a mesh. They are a mesh. These are like fun little, they're very cute, they're very ladylike, they're very polite looking shoes. The Prada satin mule sort of square toe shoes that also have a triangle heel. I've told you I like the fact that they've done the triangle on the heel. I'm not necessarily a fan of anything else to do with this. However, they are rather popular. That's the sort of style that I mean when we're talking about this. The Row also has these heels that fashion girls love, okay? They're like these little, maybe a little bit more than a kitten heel, lots of sort of very minimalist, all right? Strappy little kitten heel obviously will go with a lot. It's essentially the shoe that I'm telling you that we're seeing less of, the strappy little sky high. Instead of it being at a 10, it's at a 2.5. That's what these shoes are. I don't know if that made any sense. But the girlies are loving those. That very fits into this very sort of polite category. The second style that I think are sort of replacing these sky-high strappies are mules. Mules of any kind. There are the Bottega Veneta gold cha-cha mules that have like a little bit of chunkiness about them, but not necessarily in a way that you would expect. They have a curved little heel. Off-White has these mules that are an interesting wedge that's almost similar to the Attico wedges that I have. Wedges, by the way, also a thing, but like, they're always a thing for the summer. Loewe obviously has taken this and run with it and taken it into like a very fun aspect with these big petals on the front that obviously, you know, when it comes to novelty shoes, Loewe does them very well. And this is maybe the most wearable way that we've seen them done. We spoke a little bit earlier about this evolution of the ballet flat, and we are very firmly into the Mary Jane era. We are a little bar across the top, thank you very much. The Chanel ones are particularly popular. I'm not going to dwell on them. It's obvious. The Alaïa ballet flats, once again, these have been wildly popular. Come in, you know, you've seen the mesh version, they have the crystal version, these are still performing very well. Versace has done these in a little bit more of a substantial way. They've got a little bit of a heel, a square toe in this rich silver metallic. They do them in a pink satin. They also do them in like a black patent leather with the little silver Medusa staring at you from across the foot. You know that I'm not like a ballet flat girl, but if I was to be, does it even actually fit into Mary Jane's? I don't know. Let me just shove these in there. The Decori ones are the ones to me that I'm like, hold on, we could maybe talk. They have this sort of crisscross with baguette crystals on the front. Bit of intrigue, bit of interest. And then lots of different satin colours, a light blue, a green, a black. There's a brown as well, I think. I think there's a red. I can't quite remember. Little bit of like a squarey-ish toe. It's, I think, a different way that I've seen them being done, and I quite like that about them. Brings us to, and almost the opposite of ballet flats that we're seeing a lot of, are flatforms. These rear their heads in summer quite a lot, and I love a good flatform. Obviously, one of like the most talked about flatforms of the season are the Gucci platform loafers. I did it, I tried them on. Here's my thing. They didn't look how I thought that they would look. They're almost too flat for me. Like, I almost wanted the platform to have like a little bit of something, a little bit of movement, or at least for it to look that way. They're also they're not the easiest to walk in. I don't think that they're the lightest either. They're just not what I thought that they would be. So in my, I was like, I'm all right, you know? But those obviously, like, I see people wearing them and I'm like, that looks so cool. That just looks so cool. Why can't it be? And so, you know what? Someday, not everything's for everybody. Loewe Paula's Ibiza, they've done a petal platform, which is, you know, like an espadrille style as well. Again, espadrilles for the summer, synonymous. Isabel Marant has done these Elif woven platforms that are very sort of like, they're very flat for me. That's a very flat looking shoe. Prada Raffia wrap. These are a little bit more girly. You have the tie wrap. Again, more of that classic espadrille look. You have a very round toe with the Prada triangle on the toes. Hermes also does these espadrilles that have an ankle strap with the big H over the toes as well, in case you want something a little bit different from an Iran sandal, or the ease. Did we ever have clarification on what that's called? Anyway, I have these and I really like them. And again, they're just like a slip-on platform situation, but this one has an ankle strap. Maybe also feels slightly more dressy, you know, compared to the casual version that I have. And the Bottega Sporty Web platforms, yeah, these have more of a sporty vibe. I love the juiciness of the orange, and you have that mesh aspect as well that we spoke about earlier that ties into this shoe. When it comes to sneakers, I didn't really want to like talk too much about what's in and what's out. I think we all know that like the dad sandal and that exaggerated style we haven't seen for a lot now. There's some brands that are still banging that drum and nobody's listening. It's those sort of very retro, very flat to the floor shoes that we're seeing doing very well. You've got the Adidas Samba, you've got the Miu Miu New Balance collaboration. Do you see the profile is very flat? But the other shoe style that I think I've started seeing a lot of, and I think we're going to be seeing more and more, are these slip-on skater style sneakers. Already we're seeing a rise in Vans, the classic checkerboard van people are loving and rediscovering once again. We're going to see more brands, I think, starting now, push out more and more of these styles, so keep an eye out. There you go. Let me know which ones you're happier in, sad they're out, happy they're out, sad they're in, whatever. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.